black clouds up ahead. Keep your mind on where you're going. That's what my pappy said. Don't look back, 'cause what's gone is gone. Yeah. Though it may be rough and rocky, but like you said, you gotta keep on moving on, singing my song, looking ahead. That's what he said. Don't worry today about what tomorrow may bring. Do your best, have faith, keep smiling, and don't forget to keep moving on. Yeah, keep moving on.
When's the last time you've seen one of these rolling down the highway in your hometown? If you live in the South, you probably see one of these from time to time. But if you don't worry about it, because you're going to see plenty on today's show. First, we're going to visit Cooter's place up in the mountains. If you don't know who he is, don't worry about that one either, because you're going to find out sooner or later. Then we're going to step back in time a couple of years to learn about the 25th anniversary of the first jumping of a General Lee car. And then it's off to Dukes Fest, which has all the makings of the biggest reunion yet of these rabid fans. All that and a lot more when we return.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
This is Cooter's place, nestled up in the mountains of East Tennessee. And you're about to meet Cooter himself, a.k.a. Ben Jones, politician, actor, entrepreneur, and general all-round good old boy.
Well, Dukes of Hazzard was a family show. It was about a family that stuck together, and families all over the world watched it. Everybody piled up on the couch because it was clean family fun, and it had good values, had great action, the best action ever filmed on television, had great looking people, very talented cast, wonderful slapstick comedy, and it had the great country music. So all of those elements were things that families could enjoy together, and they knew when you watched the Dukes of Hazzard you weren't going to see anything that the kids shouldn't see. And it taught kids right from wrong, just like those old westerns I grew up with. Well, Cooter's Place, at Cooter's Place, we try to recapture the spirit of the show with a good, clean family fun. Here we've got costumes, props, scripts, pictures from behind the scenes, and lots of memorabilia, lunch boxes, trash cans, bed sheets, action figures, you name it. There were over 2,000 different items with Dukes of Hazzard on it. We tried to collect them all here and to have a good time. Other folks from the show come and visit us here. So, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard is now shown in over 50 countries around the world. So we think this is going to be a permanent place for generations to come. Dukes Fest is going to be the biggest thing we've ever done. We're going to have just about everybody from the cast there, including Daisy Duke. And that in itself will draw a crowd. You put Daisy there, everybody comes. But we're going to have all the stunt guys there. We're going to wreck a bunch of cars, jump a General Lee, try to set a new world record. There's 2 days of great music. I mean, bluegrass and country music, just like we had on the show. And some of the best, Ralph Stanley, Jesse McReynolds, Lonesome River Band are all going to be there, along with Cooter's Garage Band. And there's 2 days of drag racing there at the famous Bristol Dragway. We're going to have a parade of General Lees around Bristol Speedway, and a gigantic cruise in. There's going to be car clubs coming from everywhere, lots of Mopar, classic cars, and we'll probably have 50 or 60 General Lees, and folks from all over the world are coming. So we're hoping everybody will just come and have a big time. Kids 10 and under are free. You can get a 2-day ticket for $25, so it's good family fun. Well, I think the Dukes of Hazzard is forever. It's kind of a timeless show. If you look at it, it looks like it could have been made last year or last week. Kind of like an old Western that way. And it reflects those traditional values, and those things don't go away. So it has a great action, great comedy, great cast, and here's what I think of. The little kids think it's a new show, and that's a good sign. And kids all over the world love it, so it has values that are universal and traditional. And I think, you know, our great-great-grandchildren will be watching it 100 years from now. It's that good.
Ben, or should I say Cooter, is a pretty fascinating guy. Don't dare let that redneck outfit fool you, because he's an integral part of keeping this Dukes of Hazzard group together. I told you we were going to step back in time a little bit and visit the original site of the Dukes of Hazzard. So here we go. We solicited the assistance of international fitness competitor Angelique Lupo, and she was to be escorted by a lucky Dukes of Hazzard fan. And boy, it certainly made for an interesting show.
The Dukes of Hazzard reunion show. I guess it's one of those things where Dukes of Hazzard is such a timeless show that even though I was just being born when it started, I grew up on it, and everybody knows about Daisy and all the stunts and all that good stuff. So I was really excited. And once we got there, we had such a good time. Everyone was so wonderful. All the stunt guys we got to talk to and hear their stories. It was a really cool experience.
I'm sitting here with David, and he's sharing his Dukes memorabilia collection with me. My favorite piece? When the Dukes were on the cover of the National Enquirer. That right there is big time. Now, several hours before the show was scheduled to begin, the crowd started pouring in. Man, this place was pretty small, but not to the 2,000 or 3,000 fans that turned out to see what was getting ready to happen. About the time we focused our cameras on the infield, we saw the stunt team making final preparations. It's one thing to see something like this on television, but you can't imagine what it's like to be here firsthand. Hell, the sound effects from these cars will blow you away.
It was good. Wish we would have gone a little faster, but we always say that.
Boy, after that rollover got my attention, you'd think I was in the car myself, because I can't imagine what this jump's going to be like when he hits that ramp at 80 miles an hour. Alright, we've risked breaking an in-car camera just to catch the reality of what's about to happen.
Well, I wish we could have gotten off a little sooner than what had happened. Sitting down there with that vest on, and thank you, is incredibly uncomfortable because you can't breathe. And the intense anticipation, the adrenaline's rushing through your veins, and you just want to go. And I came in, and the only thing a little different from before was all the people. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to keep control. And it was a little dicey going there at the ramp on that dirt. Did you see that? Yeah, I was straight coming down the asphalt, but I got on the dirt and I gasped. I go, we're a little fishy here. But I kept my foot in it and came off straight.
Can you believe that many people showed up at those tiny little fairgrounds to watch Corey and his buddies crash a bunch of cars? Well, if you think that's something, get ready to see about 10 times that amount, because that's how many people showed up at Dukes Fest at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, we're starting this one off with a press conference so you can get a little taste of behind the scenes.
One, and nobody really got hurt. And that's kind of the way the world ought to be. It had the best action ever filmed for television series, and Paul Baxley, who is responsible for that action, is going to be here this weekend. And I want to introduce some of the stunt guys who, did all the work while we got all the credit. They're here, and they're going to show their stuff this weekend. And we're honored to be here at Bristol. We're honored to have done this for 25 years, and people are coming from all over the world, from Italy, from Australia, from England, because they love the Dukes of Hazzard too. So I guess we lasted past the first commercial break. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
We went to Europe about a year and a half ago, and we went to Germany and Ireland and France and Switzerland, and it's like #1 over there. And especially in Rome, I was quite surprised when so a waiter recognized me and he said, "Roscoe, may I kiss you?" I said, "No tongue." See, I did the Dukes of Hazzard. We did 157, how many? 157 shows. I got the girl one time, and then she was a crook. And then I put Flash on the show. At least during the whole run of 7 years, I was stuck with a hog and a dog.
When you saw Corey make that jump down in Covington, Georgia, you could tell the conditions weren't the best. Well, we've got that problem solved today. We've got a great takeoff area and an even better landing area. So we've got all the ingredients for a pretty darn good jump. Whatever you do, you better keep your butt glued to the seat, because you certainly don't want to miss this jump. When you see these proud owners of General Lee cars, bear in mind that these cars are members of their families.
That is a part of our family. To give you a quick history of the car, we went to look at the car. I didn't intend to buy it. I went to look at it, take pictures of it to build my own General. We got to talking. My mom said, you need to pray about that, if you want that General or not, if it's one for you, because I couldn't build one for what the fellow was selling it for. A couple weeks later, my mom told me to come by the house. She had something for me. It was a check as part of her inheritance from her parents to go buy the car. So we went and purchased the car with the family inheritance. To make it even more part of a member of the family, both of my sons' first ride was in the General on the way home from the hospital. They're both definitely enamored by the General Lee. It doesn't leave the garage without them going with it. So it is definitely a part of our family.
Listen, this whole thing is hilarious. There's boats and just about everything else you can imagine here, but the autographs are the hottest thing going at these Dukes of Hazzard get-togethers.
Okay, well, I've been doing stunts for 31 years, and about my 6th year into doing stunts, 7th year, I got on the Dukes of Hazzard, and that was all over from then. It was the best job I ever had. It was the most fun, the most experience I got, and it made me probably one of the best drivers in the business. Once we see each other, it's just like a family. It's like a family reunion. And that's how it was when we were shooting, too. It's the stunt guys and the actors. So we were all just one. We weren't separate from each other. They supported us, we supported them, and here we are, 25 years later, and we're having still a ball doing it, seeing each other. now I got to retire this year. My turnover last year was my last one. They just put 4 plates in the back, and I just decided to give it up.
Meet Tom Sorrento. His job was to keep about 320 Chargers ready during filming.
First day I started the show, there wasn't a car one that was running. I remember going out there about 5 o'clock in the morning, jump starting them all, had the hoods up on them. They were running out of gas, overheating. I mean, I knew this was going to be one miserable show. Didn't want to be on there, but somebody had to go out there and do it. I was the new guy, so I was a transfer from Universal Studios. I was doing BJ and the Bear. That show went down. Universal loaned me to Warner Brothers, and I remember saying, when I see these cars coming in on the carrier, full of mud, fenders hanging off, pity that poor guy that's working on those cars. But we made it all happen.
Well, remember Daisy Duke? This is the line you've got to stand in if you want to get her autograph. Boy, it's pretty obvious that old Daisy still has quite a bit of drawing power, regardless of how many years have gone by. And I did get a chance to talk to her, and you know, she's just as nice as I thought she'd be. Next on the hit list is James Best, better known as Roscoe P. Coltrane. And just like most of us, old Roscoe's aged a few years, but you know, when I look at him, man, I can still see that wacky old character from the 80s.
So what we're doing this year is we've got a longer ramp. It's a little bit higher at the end of the ramp, but it's less of an angle. The degree of the ramp is not as steep as the one was prior, and also we've put about 650 pounds of lead weight in the trunk, like we used to do back on the show, and to keep the ass end down. So we should land nose in just slightly, but what I'm concerned about today is like the same thing back in Georgia, is that this wet grass, I'm going to slip and 75 miles an hour plus, approaching the ramp, hitting the ramp, I'm going to scrub off some speed, but I'm going to be doing probably 55 or 60 by the time I still am on the ground. And to be able to stop on this wet green grass is going to be damn near impossible. So I'm worried about going off into the creek at the end of this run out. There's a creek, some trees. We're going to have a couple crash cars there. After we flip over the cars, we're going to use those cars as a barricade that I can crash into. Yeah, we knew we were going to nose in last year, and actually for me, that alleviates the impact. This being a unibody, it doesn't have a full frame, the whole car kind of crumbles, and it makes it a lot easier on the driver. And it dug into the grass and flopped over, and I was fine. But this will be, hopefully if I can clear 150 feet, it'll be the longest jump from asphalt to dirt.
Here's Bobby Smith. He and his brother James specialize in restorations of Dukes-type cars, including the ones being used on today's stunts.
The car that will be used today is a 1968 Charger that's been prepped for this occasion, and it's had a lot of work done to it, roll cage installed, and all of the things that are necessary for a jump. Corey is going to actually attempt to break an old Dukes record, so the ramp has actually been lengthened and heightened just a bit. He's got more run-up area than he did before, and so this car should be flying out there a long, long way.
The final prep is for Corey to test his bailout system. He's got to get out of this 5-point harness, safety straps, and helmet in about 5 or 6 seconds, just in case something bad happens. Well, the system looks pretty good from here. So let's check in on the other Smith brother to see how the other stunt car is doing. And I think these guys might be twins. If not, boy, they missed a darn good chance.
The type of police car they used on the Dukes of Hazzard television series is a 77 Plymouth Fury. And we found this one in Washington State. And it was a gold car with a vinyl top on it. And naturally, we stripped off all the things that wasn't, like the side molding that wasn't used on the show. Added the decals to the door and to the quarter panels and the light bar on top. And set the e-brake so it would do the slides, and brought it down here so that the stunt guys and Tom Sermino could use it sliding around and doing some of the stuff they enjoy doing the most.
Here comes Russell. I hope the damn brakes.
I get to be the third guy of the turnovers, so I get to see. There's 2 ramps here, 2 different pipe ramps which I've never been off of. So I'm pulling a little seniority on that. I'm going to get to watch Gary go off one ramp, this shorter ramp, and then Tommy will go off the bigger ramp, which has just been made. It's never been gone off of, so it's kind of unproven. Everybody here is to see the general lead jump, but it's nice to lead it in with some turnovers and stuff. So today I'm going to be one of the guys that we're turning 3 cars over. I'll be the third in line. I get the so-called bad guys car, it'll be a gray Malibu. I got a little bit smaller car. It should get a little higher in the air than the others, and I should be able to go a little farther. So hopefully mine will look a little bit more spectacular than the others.
All right, get ready, because I think we just got the go-ahead sign.
Here comes the call. Hello?
Well, the action's been building, and now we're ready for the grand finale. Remember, this is a world record attempt, so it should be pretty wild.
All right, Corey's out, everybody. Let's let him hear it.
It's just like the song says, he's just a good old boy.
He's fighting that system like a true modern-day Robin Hood. Look at the way on their way to hell. That's just a little bit more.
I'll bet you had no idea the General Lee fan club was that strong. I actually talked to people that came from all over Europe just to see that jump. That's how strong this fan club is. Well, I don't think I talked to anybody from France. I think this might be just a little too American for the French. Go figure that one. I had a blast doing this show.